is Alice, and it's a pleasure for me to be here today to present our home-based platform for post-stroke rehabilitation, ARC-intellicare. To start, a few words on my company, CAMLIN, which is a large enterprise based in Northern Ireland, with business activity on several sectors, including also, since more recently, also the healthcare. The common ingredient is the development of products based on innovative technologies. CAMLIN Health has two offices here in Italy, one in Parma and one in Pisa. Our main research areas are rehabilitation engineering, brain-computer interface, and the microfabrication of wearable biosensors, with a shared mission which is to bring new technologies into the rehabilitation market, especially for home-based applications. Let's come now to the background of our work with some numbers. According to the burden of stroke in Europe report, there will be an increase of 35% in the stroke incidence within 10 years. And also, it is well known that 40% of stroke survivors have to face with disability and loss of independence. However, 35% of the European members has no formal arrangement of patient follow-up after hospital discharge. But at the same time, rehabilitation is strongly recommended by the guidelines to improve patient quality of life after a stroke. For this reason, home-based rehabilitation can be considered a priority for the European community, and together with the strong need to implement new care pathway that allows continuity of care from hospital to home, and that augments the intensity and the personalization of the rehabilitation treatment at a sustainable cost. We started working in this context thanks to an European project called MAGIC, which stands for Mobile Assistance for Groups and Individuals within the Stroke Community. It's a pre-commercial procurement divided into 3 phases, with the main goal to develop a new novel solution able to bring a significant change into the delivery of healthcare for post-stroke rehabilitation at home. The first phase, started in February 2017, was about the design and the feasibility assessment of the proposed solutions. The second phase was about the first implementation of the first prototype, while the third phase, still ongoing, is dedicated to the production of the final version of this prototype to be tested into a clinical study, a multi-center clinical study that we have called ARC-Angel. At the beginning of this year, the first ARC prototypes have been used by the first patients at their home, and to date, about 25 patients are currently using this device at home among UK and Italy. But let's see now what is ARC-intellicare. It's basically a device based on inertial sensors, machine learning algorithms that are hosted into an embedded system enclosed in this charging station, and a tablet as a user interface. Briefly, ARC main features are these. First of all, inertial sensors are to be worn at the waist or ankles, are easy to wear. Even with an impaired limb, thanks to a SLAP mechanism in their support. And the user interface, tablet app, has been designed to be intuitive and friendly also for patients. The core of ARC is its machine learning algorithm that allows patient monitoring and to provide real-time feedbacks to patients during the execution of unsupervised exercise when the therapist is not present at the patient home. These first two features have been conceived with the intent to foster a home-based use. Then the therapist has a central role in this framework. He can prescribe bespoke exercise tailored to patient needs, and also extending the already available library by creating new exercise. And finally, ARC is composed of several modules. A clinical version to be used at the hospital on multiple patients, mainly for training purposes. A ARC home-based, one per patient, and a dedicated module for the therapist, which is essentially a tablet with a dedicated app. And the therapist app allows the therapist to manage and monitor his patient. Now, as technology providers, we know that we must target an integration with the clinical practice. So this is how we have introduced our platform into a clinical pathway. The ARC final users are stroke patients, the therapists, and also the healthcare coordinators. After the acute phase in a stroke unit, the patient usually arrives at the physio department where they are screened, and those who accept to use ARC for a rehabilitation period at home are inserted into an ARC web portal by the healthcare coordinator, and then they are guided by their therapist during a variable number of training sessions, depending on the patient capabilities, to be performed at the hospital, with the goal mainly to learn how to use ARC autonomously. After discharge, patient can start using ARC at home, following the rehabilitation program prescribed by his therapist, and the therapist can monitor patient performances using his dedicated tablet. With this framework, we have obtained a full integration of all the ARC components, and mostly we have realized a continuity among the hospital and the patient home, with the therapists that are supported in following their patients remotely. We are currently testing the feasibility of this approach within the clinical investigation I have already mentioned, ARC-Angel. The study started in January in Italy, and to date we have recruited 27 patients, and 6 of them ended the study successfully, which means that they complete a 6-month period of rehabilitation using ARC at home. And about 14 patients are currently using ARC at home. These are the primary objectives of this study and the corresponding results. We have questionnaire to assess the ARC usability, wearability, and the patient global satisfaction in using this device. And from those collected since now, the feedbacks are very positive. To conclude, I want to show you this last slide, which shows the full team that worked and is now currently working on this project. Not only the 2 offices here in Italy of CAMLIN contributed to this project, but also several teams at the headquarters in Lisbon, and also the firmware team of the CAMLIN office in Poland. This is just to show you the complexity and the effort and the collaboration among different teams that this project has required. These are my co-authors that I thanks a lot, and finally, of course, I thanks all of you for the attention.
Questions? I have one question. Have you compared efficacy of the system with traditional human intervention providing therapy?
We are going to do this in the next study. This is just the feasibility assessment, which was imposed by the MAGIC project. So we were forced to do first the feasibility assessment, and then we need to do a randomized control trial, probably to compare with the standard practice.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.